and welcome to another episode of Feminine Scope, a program where we discuss issues affecting women, celebrating their triumphs and seeking ways to solve their challenges. I am Amanda Ezekwe. Self-esteem can start as early as babyhood. It develops slowly over time. It can start just because a child feels safe, loved and accepted. It can start when a baby gets positive attention and loving care. As they grow and become young children, they are able to do things by themselves. This makes them feel good about themselves, knowing they can use their new skills. These skills grow when parents pay attention, compliment the child, and encourage her. Today we'll be discussing about nurturing self-esteem in the girl child. Do we really understand what self-esteem is? Do you know that as a mother, you can help boost the self-esteem of your girl child, making them very confident? These and more will be our focus on Feminine Scope. My guest for today is a certified marriage and relationship counselor, a parenting coach. She has over 20 years experience in professional counseling. You'll get to meet my guest after the break. Welcome back. Self-esteem grows when kids get to see that what they do matters to others. How can we as mothers help our kids do this, especially the girl child? So today we'll be discussing nurturing self-esteem in the girl child. And with me is my guest for today, Mrs. Yinlayefa Adeleke, a certified marriage and relationship counselor, a parenting coach, the Chief Executive Officer and Lead Counselor of Recovery Waters Counseling Limited. She has over 20 years experience in professional counseling, a member of Counseling Association of Nigeria, the African Network of Professional Counselors, and American Psychological Association. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here with you this
Nice
evening.
to have you again.
Thank you so much.
So today we're talking about self-esteem, especially for the girl child. So let's start first. What is self-esteem?
Okay. Self-esteem is having a positive feeling about yourself. Self-esteem is knowing who you are and being comfortable in your skin, appreciating your weaknesses, your strengths, knowing who you are and yet you are comfortable with that. That is self-esteem. It's believing in yourself, believing in your capacities, believing in your capabilities. That is self-esteem.
Okay, at what age precisely can a child, notice that they've started developing self-esteem?
Okay, basically, for parents, right from age 0, that's when we begin to lay the foundation for healthy self-esteem. So when a parent holds the child, kisses the child, cuddles the child, and don't allow the child to cry for so long before they attend to the child, all of those ones are part of laying the foundation for a healthy child esteem. However, when they grow to become toddlers and preteens, when they begin to get aware of themselves, and then we begin to do an intentional work on them to have positive or healthy self-esteem.
You've mentioned healthy self-esteem twice now. Is self-esteem not healthy?
Okay, so we have a healthy self-esteem. Self-esteem is the way you look at yourself. So we have the healthy self-esteem. Healthy self-esteem is the positive light. There's a negative or low or poor self-esteem. Also, when you say she has a low self-esteem, right? He has a very good self-esteem, So you have the healthy self-esteem and then you have low or poor self-esteem.
Okay, I want you to throw more light on both so that people will know the difference. So let's start with the healthy one.
Okay, the healthy self-esteem is when you see yourself in a positive light. You appreciate yourself, you know who you are, and then you accept yourself for who you are. That is being comfortable with yourself. I know that my nose is longer than usual, but I like it all the same. So that is being positive. While the negative esteem is they have a very, very poor self-esteem. They're not looking at themselves in a positive light. It's not liking oneself, it's not appreciating oneself, it's not even okay, somebody's got how would I put it now, downplaying their strengths, downplaying their abilities. Sometimes you see children or even adults, they celebrate their failures more than they celebrate their wins.
Why does self-esteem really matter?
Self-esteem matters especially in children because without a healthy self-esteem, there's a lot out there. They won't be able to stand up to their peers. Without a healthy self-esteem, they will not be motivated to do things that they ought to do. Without a healthy self-esteem, there won't be the need to keep trying. When they fail, they just want to stay there. But with a healthy self-esteem, when you fall, you want to stand up and keep pushing. When you fall, you want to stand up and keep going. You know, it's like, let me use the word bounce back ability. You know, yeah, you fall and you want to bounce back. You know, you're not staying there. You're not so careful or so intentional about mistakes. When you make mistakes, say, oh, it's a mistake. Mistakes are meant to make me a better person. You know, and so you go ahead to keep working. So it's important that they have healthy self-esteem so that when they get out there in the world, you know, they'll be able to stand the challenges, they'll be able to problem solve for themselves, they'll be able to handle issues by themselves, they'll be able to make healthy, wise decisions for themselves and not wait for some other person to make decisions for themselves, handle things for themselves. So it's important.
Now let's bring it back to the girl child.
Okay.
We find out that in the society today, the era of social media, it's taking a major toll on people generally. But we can see that it's more on the girl child. How can we say that, you know, when we see this happen, how can we associate it with the life of a girl child when it comes to self-esteem?
The social media, like every other thing, is a gift that has both sides. The social media can be a blessing and can be a curse at the same time. Now, it depends on what angle you're looking at it from. It depends on what you want to make out of it. It depends on your own definition. And it depends on the parents, on how they allow this child their exposure. Because it's every parent's responsibility to ensure that, you know, they watch how much of time the children spend on social media and if they are of age. Because it's not for every age group. There is a certain age that the child can begin to go to social media to see things. But however, there are to be what? Restrictions. How much of restrictions can parents put in place to avoid this from happening? And then also, is the parents responsible to educate their children to know that, hey, it's not everything you see on social media that is a reality. People post things out there just to give an aspect that they want other people to see, to know.
Showing people what they want them to see.
Yeah, but it is much more than that. So if you get carried away with what you see, you get carried away with what you hear, you know, it's going to be detrimental to you. It's going to affect the child adversely. So it's the parent's responsibility to ensure that, hey, lady, this social media, all of those things you see here, all of these things you hear there, that's not all there is to life. It is much more than this. So the girl child should be tutored, the girl child should be encouraged, the girl child should be told that what is in social media is much more than what is out there in the world. That is not all that there is. Because people will only give you what they feel that, you know, they want you to see, not the entire truth.
How can parents build self-esteem in their girl children, especially the mothers, relating with them?
Okay, so let's start by looking at who the girl child is. The girl child is a visible expression of the invisible God. You know, God's nature and God's character put in the female body for earth's rulership and dominion. That is what the female child is. That's what the girl child is. And just like the male is the visible expression or character of the invisible God in a masculine body. So they are both the same. However, they have their differences. Now, for the girl child, how can parents help to build or nurture self-esteem in the girl child? We happen to be in a society where it looks as though the girl child or the male child is preferred to the girl child. So it now behoves on mothers or parents, fathers also, caregivers, teachers, the house attendants, and all the people that the girl child comes in contact with, to let her know that she is as complete as any other human being, in the way she's spoken to, in the way she's being related to, in the way she's being addressed, in the way she's talked to. Let her know that she is more than enough in her own skin. Let her see her strengths, appreciate those strengths, celebrate those strengths. That is nurturing self-esteem in the child. Also, when we are relating with the girl child, nurturing self-esteem in the girl child also, you need to learn to spend more time with her. Now, you spend time with the male child also, all right, not just the girl child. You spend time with all of them, So you're spending time with your child. You are telling your child that I love you. You are telling the child that you are worthy. You are telling the child that you are of worth to me. You are telling the child that I accept you. Okay, I love you just as you are. So when we pay attention to their needs, to their desires, when we listen to them, we are helping to build, nurture self-esteem in them. When we allow them to do things for themselves, age appropriate now. Okay. There is something that a 3-year-old, you can allow a 3-year-old to do, all right, that, a 1-year-old may not be able to. There are some things that you allow the 16-year-old to do also, you understand? So we look at it on age appropriate basis. So allow them to do certain things. When they do and they fail, don't concentrate on the failure.
Can you give us examples of the age appropriate things? Because sometimes we see that some parents actually label these children. So can we have an example of what they can do age appropriate wise?
Okay.
Like from the 3-year-old?
Okay, so from 3-year-old, you can tell the 3-year-old to pick up his or her toys in a gentle, nice way. Oh, Amanda, sweet, can you pick up your toys and dump them in the box there? The child already knows where to keep the toys. So when you do that, it's not just for you to come and help the child to pick the toys. You're doing that. All right. Now we are moving to the preteens. When the preteen done eating, you don't carry the plate for the preteen. Allow the preteen to carry the plates to the kitchen. When they are going to their boarding school, allow them to pack their bags. You may come and supervise. You may come and see to ensure that everything needed is there, but please allow them to pack their bags. Because if you keep doing things that they should do for themselves, you are not helping them in any way. You are making them to be dependent. They're just going to be depending on people to do things for them. And when they go to the boarding school or outside your home, it's going to be the same way also. So allow them to do things. When they do things, they are building strength on the inside. Yeah, I did it. That boosts them on the inside. And like I said, when they are doing it in the process and they fail, please don't clamp on them.
Some parents don't have patience.
Oh no, don't drop the sledgehammer. Encourage them for the process that they've gone through. Encourage them for making steps. Encourage them, appreciate them for making efforts. And then let them know, hey, you missed it here. You can do it again. Try and do it again. Let's do it again all together. When you do that, you are boosting or you are encouraging or you are building your nurturing self-esteem in that child also. When we are dealing with our children, let's also understand that they are flesh and blood just as we are. They are humans created in God's image just as we are. So we need to deal with them with respect. You don't shout at a child, you don't yell at a child, you don't call the child names. treat them with respect. Don't barge into their rooms, you know. Yeah,
some parents might not believe this.
Yeah, it's your house. Because, you know, our environment has a way of conditioning us. Because what they are used to is what they are going to become. And that's what they will do when they are out of your space. Now, if you have a child that is violent at school, why is always beating up its classmates, you will discover that it's coming from somewhere. From the elders around, perhaps. So when we show respect to them, we're telling them that you are important. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that builds, you know, self-esteem in them also.
So what are the signs when you see a child who has self-esteem issues?
Okay. For unhealthy, low self-esteem issues, you discover that they can't do things for themselves. They don't appreciate themselves. They see all that is good in other people, but they don't see anything good in them. They kind of timid, and they haven't learned the art of assertive communication. They want to be praised by others. They want to belong to, you know, the cliques. You know, if the friends say you're not my friend anymore, they feel very dejected. They feel as if the whole world has come upon them. So those are some of the signs that you see with children with poor or low self-esteem. They are unable to do things for them. They can't make decisions for themselves. They don't know how to man their emotions. They don't know how to handle conflict. When things happen, they don't know how to handle conflict. And that is where a lot of children run into some other vices. They run away from that and run into some other thing. I have seen cases where, because of that, you know, some people run into pornography. That's where they find solace from. That's where they find comfort. And so over time, they got addicted to it, and it becomes another monster entirely in their life.
But most times, some parents don't realize this, especially when they come down hard on these children. How can you control it?
Coming hard on the children, not understanding.
Yes.
Now, every parent needs to understand that the way you were raised shouldn't be the way you are raising your child right now, because your generations are apart. We are worlds apart.
You know, we hear things like the person who came first doesn't have two heads. Why can't you come first? Yes, we hear that a lot, and this affects the children. Some cannot deal with competition. How can you control that?
It comes back to the parents and their responsibility as parents. When a parent tells a child, the person that had 90 over 100 isn't having two heads, so why can't you have 90 or even 100? Why should it be the person to be third? Why not first position in school, in class? It will never help that child. Why? Because we have different strengths and different capacities. We have different levels. Now, for the fact that I don't have A's in maths doesn't mean my life isn't going to amount to anything. I just have my own areas. So parents, please, life is much more than just having A's in maths and English. There are other areas, potentials in that child. Discover the areas of strength in that child, and then capitalize on those and celebrate those ones on those areas, and allow the child to fly. Now that goes for teachers also, not only parents. You know, sometimes we have, I think that's the reason why sometimes I don't really like prize giving days.
Why?
Fortunately or whatever, my children all through their school, they're always having awards in school. But I saw that many students, many children, you know, they felt like failures because they were not able to get one award or the other. They felt like failures. And so there's somebody in the class that is a high flyer when it comes to mathematics, all right? And then this other person that isn't there. So we concentrate on the one that's got A's in maths and English. But there's some other person that has some soft skill there, that when he enters a room, he knows what is amiss and want to arrange, put everything in place. Do you understand? That is something there. There is somebody that loves to play football. That is something there. There is somebody that loves to play with gadgets. That is something there. So let parents discover. And that's why we say from the age of ages 0 to 3, parents are to do the work of scouting. You are scouting, you are looking, what is peculiar with this my child? What is new about this my child? What skills of this my child? What are the potentials of this child? What has God sent this child to do on earth? You know? And so, a child that loves to play with water all the time. I had a story of a 3-year-old child that loved to play with, always playing with water. Anytime she sees water, she just wants to enter that water. And so they took the child to a spiritual house, to beat the marine spirit out of that child. Who knows? Maybe the child is an oceanographer or something. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. Or somebody who loves. Do
you understand? So that might just be a message for that parent that this is my talent. This is my talent. When they are playing, they show themselves in their plays. So watch your children closely while they are playing. Watch them closely when they are arguing. What tips them off? Pay close attention. It's revealing their personalities and it's revealing their talents, their potentials and all of that. So when you have that information and that knowledge, then you are able, to use that information to help the child.
Now, when you watch closely and see all these things and you find out the potentials these children have, how do you boost it? Especially when it comes to self-esteem, because these are the things that help them. I'll give you an example. Personally, growing up, because of my height, I was always, I don't want to be seen. And each time people are doing things, I just want to stay background. But when I discovered basketball, when I walk into a room and people are like, oh, this tall girl. My self-esteem went top notch. But the thing there was that I couldn't take basketball professionally because I wasn't encouraged. Probably if I was encouraged, who knows? So how can parents encourage their kids, especially when they discover what they find out they love doing, that will help boost their self-esteem?
So when you scout, when you have spotted that talent, what you do is take it up and begin to encourage that child. Oh, I see that you love to sketch. I see that you love to draw. I see that you love to paint. Come, let's go get some more painting, materials. Get the child more painting books, crayons, and all of that, and encourage the child to paint some more. Now, you see a child that is in love with music. Okay, so there's this child in your class that will take his pencil every day. He breaks his pencil. Every day the child is breaking the pencil. If you're beating that child, you're wasting your time. You just might be beating out a talent. You just might be killing a potential in that child. Who knows? It might just be a world-class drummer that you're beating. So when a child is constantly breaking his pencil, so John or Ben, why do you break your pencils all the time? Oh, I drum with them. So what do? Get a drum set in the house for that child. Okay, so this is what we do, all right? When you are in school, you don't drum, okay, with your pencils. When you get home, you sit there and drum. If you do that, that child will start breaking the pencils. And that is also an information that this is probably a world-class drummer in the making. And not to say, my friend, go and pick your books and read. You should be studying by now. You are wasting your time playing with pencils and drumming on my table. Get out of this place. That is stifling that potential, and that is not building self-esteem. So pick it up and encourage that child. I feel happy when I hear people say, I wanted to go into music. I wasn't even sure, but my mom supported me. My dad supported me. And look at where I am today. That is great. A lot of talents have died because the parents from the home front did not recognize that and then cause the talents to grow or to flourish. So parents should pick up those talents, whatever they have discovered, the data they have gathered from the children, through play, through their interactions, through whatever means, nurture those things. And that will help to build self-esteem. When you do that, you are telling the child that I trust you. You are telling the child, I believe in you. See, a child that knows that I am loved, my parents believe in me, will swim above ground levels. Will think that he or she can carry the entire world.
Because
yes,
he or she has a support.
Yeah, you have a support of parents. Very key. It's when parents fail at home with that, they begin to look for it outside. When a child is not used to hearing, "You're beautiful, you look nice, you look good," they want to look for it outside. And sometimes when they tell them outside, they don't even believe it. I've had adults, when you give them a compliment, "I beg you, stop pulling my leg. But I'm telling you, your shoes are beautiful, and I meant it. And you're telling me, stop pulling my legs, Joe." So you see that there is an esteem problem there also.
So that started from...
It started from, yeah, when they were way
kids.
back at kids at home, yeah. It started way back. So it's the parent's responsibility to dictate all of that and then begin to nurture those things. No skill should be trivialized. None should be looked down on. And all our children are different. For the fact that the first one is good in math doesn't mean the other one should be good. Do you understand?
Okay. I hope parents are really listening to this, because this is where they tend to push sibling rivalry in with this thing you're saying. Please continue.
Oh, that's another area. Yes, it will escalate to sibling rivalry, definitely, because you begin to compare them, forgetting that the orange seed and the cocoa seed are not the same.
What are the factors that can destroy a child's self-esteem?
The best environment to raise a child is a well-balanced home where the parents are in union. They're working as a team. They're working together. When there is peace in the environment of the child, self-esteem will thrive. On the other hand, if the environment is chaotic, if the environment is turbulent, if the environment is aggressive, you will water down the self-esteem of that child. You will not build self-esteem in that child. So that is one factor that can affect the child's self-esteem. When there is a lot of judgments in that environment also, it will not help the child. When children fail, allow them to fail and then help them, encourage them to stand and keep going. So when we concentrate on their failures, that's another factor that will bet poor or low self-esteem in children. So the parental environment, judgments in the environment, criticizing their everything work, not appreciating them when they've done well. I have heard that when a child's done well, don't praise them so that it doesn't get into their head. It's not right, but you can clamor down on them when they do wrong. But that's not a balanced feedback. Yes. Yeah, you're not giving a balanced feedback there. So when they have done well, appreciate them for a job well done. And when they have not done well, call them, sit them down and talk to them. Not shout, not beat. Don't drop the sledgehammer. Sit them down. So what happened here? How did this happen? What do you think we can do? When you do that, you are giving the child an opportunity to think out answers for himself. What do you think we can do to correct this? If it happens next time, what do you think you can do to avoid this from happening again? So when we do that, we are helping that child to build self-esteem also, a healthy one. So allow them to fail and then learn their lessons. You did not get to where you are in one day. You went through a series of falling and rising, falling and rising. So get to that point. So allow the child also, but please encourage them. When they do well, appreciate them. I don't know whether to use the word praise, but I'd rather go with the word appreciate and acknowledge the fact that they did well. And when they have done wrong, sit down and discuss it with them. When you do that, you are separating the error from their personality. You don't clamor down on their person.
Letting them know that nothing is perfect.
Do you understand? Yeah. And that regardless of what, I love you. So let's separate issues, learn to separate issues also. That's another factor that we need to consider. Parents a lot of time don't know how to separate issues. Okay, so she put too much salt in the yam. Let's deal with that. Let's leave our personality. How could you be so clumsy? You are stupid. You mean all this while you still cannot boil yam without putting excess salt? Let's deal with the salt matter. Leave who the girl is. So learn to separate issues. Let's address the problem, not the person's personality.
So how do you identify when a child has low self-esteem? What are the factors you notice when you see that in a child and know that, okay, this is self-esteem that the child is suffering?
Okay, that when a child has poor self-esteem,
Yes.
they concentrate on their flaws. They concentrate on their flaws. They don't feel good about themselves. They are afraid to fail. When they fail, they don't want to try again. They can't handle their emotions. They want to belong to the cliques, okay? And also, they are afraid to try. When they fail, they don't want to try anymore. They give up easily on themselves. They don't see anything good in themselves, but they see things good in other persons. They complain about themselves. They are very critical of themselves. They don't make excuses for them. They don't know how to forgive themselves. They don't pardon themselves when they hear.
So they're too hard on themselves when they
they are
find
hard
out.
on themselves. They are hard on themselves, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've been discussing nurturing self-esteem in a girl child. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about factors that can help nurture the self-esteem of a girl child. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Feminine Scope, and we've been discussing about nurturing self-esteem in your girl child. We still have our guest with us, Mrs. Yinlayefa Adeleke, a certified marriage and relationship counselor, parenting coach, and the chief executive officer of Recovery Waters Counseling Limited. We're back, ma'am.
Thank you.
So before we went on the break, we talked about the factors that can help you identify when a child has low self-esteem. So now we're going to identify the factors that can help the child, nurture the child's self-esteem.
How do we nurture self-esteem in the child?
Yes.
It begins with the child feeling loved, accepted, feeling belonged, feeling worthy, feeling that he or she is enough in our own skins. And it's the responsibility of parents and caregivers to ensure that that love, that message is sent into the child. Another thing we'll do is avoid criticizing.
Parents do that a lot.
Avoid criticizing.
And comparing.
Comparing, yeah, that's a major one. No two persons are the same. You can't compare the cocoa seed to the maize seed. They are not the same thing. Every child is different from the other. So it's when parents fail to identify the powers in their children that they begin to compare. They want to do one size fits all. You can't do that in the space of parenting, because every child is unique. Every child is different. Every child is separate from the other. They have their assignment they have been given. They have their own call. They are all different. So please do the work of a parent. Sit down and find out, and then handle the children uniquely, because they are all unique and their own strengths in their own ways. There is one that is an ambassador in your family. There's one that is a royalty in your family. They are different. So handle them as such. But it's the parent's responsibility to discover that.
Okay, now
and deal with it.
Talk to the children. How can they boost their self-esteem?
Okay. For children that are of the age of understanding, from the preteens, understand that you are a special and unique person. What people say or do, or what they think or feel about you, is irrelevant. Your self-worth cannot be touched or tampered with by what people do or say. You are special, you are unique, you are important, you are on head for a special assignment from God. So believe in yourself. Understand that your friend may be a very good singer. That is just her gift. She's different from you. But you might be very good at running. Maybe you are a sports person. Do you understand? So we all have our separate, areas of strength. So concentrate on your areas of strength. Another thing that you will do is, and this for parents could do this for the children, and the children can do this for themselves, is the power of I am. Affirmation, words of affirmation. Teach the child the power of I am. Affirm them, appreciate them, and then you also, when you've done something, no matter how tiny it is, celebrate your wins. Pat yourself at the back, give yourself a hug, stand in front of your mirror and say, oh Amanda, you are so beautiful, I love your nose, I love me because I have a unique smile that nobody's got on earth. I love me. There are many children I have seen in my space, counseling space, that they find it difficult to tell themselves, I love you. I had a 20-year-old client, when I told her, stand in the front of the mirror and call yourself by name and tell yourself, you are beautiful. And I said, don't just say, put emotions in it, put some energy. Look at her and say, you are beautiful and I love you. She broke down and wept and wept. And then she did it the second time. She was tearful. And then after a while, she became comfortable with it. So encourage your child to stand in front of mirror. They should just tell themselves, I love me. I love me because I have cute eyes. I love me because I have lovely hair. I love me because my nails are beautiful. I love me because my nose is well sculptured. The power of I am. And then I am beautiful. I am strong. I am important. I am on head for a purpose. As many I ams that are possible, lose. Because initially, like I said, to sound weird, but after a while, the brain will accept it. Okay? Their mind will accept it. And the body will start walking in that direction also. So the I am affirmation is important. It's key. Train the child to do that. And also, train the child gratitude.
Before you go to that gratitude, what will you tell parents? What advice will you, because this is becoming a pandemic amongst families. Yes, I call it pandemic because I've seen cases where children do not feel accepted because of these self-esteem issues. What advice will you give parents in order to help their children in this journey?
Parents, dear parents, co-parents, it is very, very important that we discover our children and encourage them to be comfortable in their skin and not to be like another person. Dear parents, understand that the child doesn't have to be like you. They don't need to like what you like, love what you love, and do the things that you do. They are a unique set of persons and they should be treated as such. Let parents learn to love and respect the child. Some people say they love, but respect is not there. And then parents with plenty of kindness and empathy. Take away disempowering words from your vocabulary as a parent and intentionally put empowering words in your parenting manual. It will go a long way to help you as a parent, because your child will not always be with you. For you to have that peace of mind when he or she is out of your face, it is what you have built into the child while the child was with you. And self-esteem is one of those things. Help them to understand their self-worth. That regardless of accomplishment out there, it does not change their self-worth. Because self-esteem is built on self-worth. So that's parent responsibility. When you send them to Ukraine, when you send them to Canada, when you send them to the US to study, you'll be at peace because you know you've done a good job. Because the environment you create for them is what is going to condition them, will install softwares in them that they are going to use to function, operate wherever they are going to. So be intentional. Parents, seek knowledge. Nobody came to earth with parenting skills as such. You want to be a doctor, you went to school, you went for training, you did a lot of certification, all right? You want to be a lawyer, you did that. You want to be an accountant, you did that. Please, go learn parenting skills. It is very, very important. And if you were raised in a toxic environment, it means that you as a parent, for you to parent, not from a place of fear, not from a place of pain, you need to heal yourself. How were you raised? What parenting culture brought you forth? Will that parenting culture work for the child of today? If it's not going to, discard it, please. Go get information, get knowledge. There are a lot of free parenting courses online, free ones online. Go there, learn how to be a parent. Discover yourself, discover the child. Because for every child, there are seeds. Like the Bible always describes a child as a seed or as a harrow. Discover that child. Develop the child. And then deploy the child to the assignment he was asked to. As a matter of fact, I believe that it is the rule. The school shouldn't decide the child should decide the school. So we should find out who my child is, check out my child, and then look for a school that can deliver that child. Not just dump the child in any school and say, I pay millions for you every term and this is what you bring back home. Did the child send you?
Sincerely
that is bullying
appreciate
anyway.
you.
That's bullying.
Oh, really? Okay, that will be a topic for another day.
That's bullying. Don't bully your child, please.
We sincerely appreciate you for taking our time to be with us today, and we hope that next time we'll call on you, you oblige us.
I'll be glad to.
Our guest today has been Mrs. Yinlayefa Adeleke, a certified marriage and relationship counselor, a parenting coach and chief executive and lead counselor of Recovery Waters Counseling Limited. She has over 20 years experience in professional counseling, a member of Counseling Association of Nigeria, the African Network of Professional Counselors, and American Psychological Association. Finally, it's easy to notice when kids seem to feel good about themselves and when they don't. We often describe this idea of feeling good about themselves as self-esteem. The girl child who feels good about herself has the confidence to try out new things. They feel proud of what they can do and what they have done, and this helps them cope with mistakes. The girl child who has low self-esteem feels unsure of herself. She thinks others won't accept her. She lets others treat her poorly, and as a result, she might not do as well as she would have wanted. It is very key to nurture self-esteem in the girl child because it sets her towards the path of empowerment against challenges as a result of cultural, religious, political, and social beliefs. That's the much we can take on the program. Until next week, bye-bye.